Aaliyah Dana Houghton was born on the 16th of January 1979 in Brooklyn, New York, to Diane and Michael Houghton, and was the younger sibling to her older brother, Rashad Houghton. When she was 5 years old, her and her family moved to Detroit. Aaliyah grew up loving performing and singing. At age 10, she appeared on Star Search, singing My Funny Valentine, and at 11 years old, she opened up shows in Las Vegas for her aunt, who by marriage to her uncle Barry Hankerson was the Gladys Knight. Aaliyah's uncle Barry was well known within the music industry, working as a manager and record producer with artists such as Toni Braxton and most recently JoJo, both of whom complained about the damage he caused to their careers, and both ended up having to raise lawsuits against him. Barry Hankerson also managed and introduced Aaliyah to R. Kelly. R. Kelly became a dominant figure in Aaliyah's career, producing her first album, Age Ain't Nothing But a Number, which was released in 1994 and contained numerous top 10 hits from Aaliyah, such as Back and Forth, and the single the album took its name from, Age Ain't Nothing But a Number. However, it came to light that the relationship between R. Kelly and Aaliyah, to put it lightly, was more than just that between a producer and a singer. R. Kelly, as we now know, is and was a predator, and he abused his position with Aaliyah, and news about a marriage between the two surfaced, with Aaliyah only being 15 years old and R. Kelly being 27. At the time that this news was released, it was only speculation and known as rumours, but as time has progressed, this rumour has been confirmed as truth. The marriage was quickly annulled, and Aaliyah and R. Kelly went separate ways, never to work with each other again, and thankfully he was out of her life for good. Aaliyah continued to go from strength to strength. It was shortly after this that the magic trio, Timbaland, Missy and Aaliyah, got together to make Aaliyah's best music, to create her second album, One in a Million, in 1996, and to cement her title as the Princess of R&B with hits such as Hot Like Fire, Full Page Letter, and If Your Girl Only Knew. In 2001, Timbaland helped to produce Aaliyah's third album, self-titled Aaliyah, which consisted of hits such as We Need a Resolution, More Than a Woman, and Rock the Boat. Aaliyah was a triple threat. She could sing, dance, and act, and starred in movies such as Romeo Must Die and Queen of the Damned. Aaliyah, with her unique style, fresh sound, and iconic artistry, was so dearly loved by her peers and her fans. And as said, she was lovingly known as the Princess of R&B, but also as Baby Girl. Until this day, if you mention either of those names, people will instantly know you are talking about Aaliyah. Aaliyah was a star, and even though she achieved so much, she was only just getting started when, sadly, at the tender age of 22, on the 25th of August 2001, Aaliyah passed away in a plane crash after leaving the Bahamas from a video shoot of her last ever music video for Rock the Boat. Since her passing, there has been many questions and conspiracies around the plane crash. It's been said the plane was overloaded, the pilot Louis Morales was intoxicated and not qualified to fly the plane. It was said that Aaliyah wasn't even supposed to be filming in the Bahamas, and it was a last-minute change by director Hype Williams. Aaliyah was so loved, and her fans still question certain aspects of her passing till this day. And so today we raise those questions to Spirit to try and gain some clarity and some answers. Hi lovelies, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome to this reading on Aaliyah. Today we're going to raise the unanswered questions around Aaliyah's passing to gain some clarity and answers on what really happened. Before turning on the camera, I've been channeling Aaliyah's energy, and of course she is as laid back, cool and calm as ever. I've channeled Aaliyah's energy a few times, and I will leave those channelings down below if you would like to go and watch them. It's interesting because as I began to communicate with Aaliyah, she brought something through which I'd never even considered really. My question is always, well, why? because a lot of the conspiracy around Aaliyah's passing is that she was sacrificed, or that they wanted to get rid of her for people like Beyonce to take the limelight. And I never understood why, because in my eyes it's like, why can't both of you be at the top? And Aaliyah said, you know, she proudly was, you know, a workaholic. She proudly would have worked until the day she passed, and she did. And her work was her life, and she loved her craft, and she wasn't really willing to share the limelight. And she says that proudly. You know, she's saying, I wasn't willing to dim my light after everything I'd been through and everything I'd experienced. I wasn't willing to dim my light or share my light with anyone, and that was a problem. That was a problem for the people on the top, and all I see really visually is money. This is all about money. This is an industry, and when you get into it, it is a beastly, monstrous industry. And she said to me, why do you think Beyonce takes hiatuses? It's not the reason you think it is. It's not because she's resting or she's tired, or it's because she has to contractually make way for other artists because of money. Aaliyah has said to me, which is obvious, but, you know, she said it, you know, 10 artists are worth more money than one. And Beyonce has signed that contractually, that she will take hiatuses, but that she will always come back. Aaliyah is telling me that is something she was not prepared to do. Aaliyah was not prepared to take breaks. Aaliyah didn't want to take breaks. Aaliyah wanted to work and do all the things all the time. And that was a problem. That was a problem for the people at the top. Okay, because when you've got one person dominating the charts, dominating the movies, dominating the roles, that doesn't leave much money to be made for everybody else, okay? And when I ask Aaliyah, does she feel like she was sacrificed? She makes me feel that it's very hard, even in her passing, to come to terms with that, and that she doesn't like the word sacrifice. But in one way or another, she supposes that could be the case. Yeah, she's talking about fame and how her fame was a problem. And she also brought me to the Rock the Boat video shoot and the energy that was on that shoot, and how it was very different, and how she felt something was off. And she's talking about a lot of phone calls being made and people not really being available to her who should have been available to her, and the energy and vibe just being very, very strange. And she makes me feel that even though she didn't know she was going to pass, she did feel very, very off. Now, Aaliyah does draw me to her fear of flying. And she's saying, I was definitely always an anxious flyer, but on this occasion I wasn't just anxious, I was panicked. I feel like I've spoken about this before. Like, Aaliyah had a very strong intuition. She definitely had a very strong inner knowing, a very strong gut feeling. I can even feel it now, like just a pull, like within her gut. Like she just knew something was off. And she's saying, consciously, I would have never got on that plane, and that's just heartbreaking. And I do feel like she would like to confirm that she was asleep when she passed, and there is acknowledgement for her that, you know, although she would have never got on that plane consciously, there is appreciation that I guess she was unaware of what happened, and her next kind of consciousness is being on the other side. Okay, so we're going to raise the questions to the cards now, and to Spirit, and to Aaliyah's energy, and see what we get back. So the first question I would really love to ask, Hype Williams was directing the Rock the Boat video, and Hype Williams had moved the Rock the Boat video from Miami, where there are 16 glorious beaches that Aaliyah could have filmed on, and he moved the shoot to the Bahamas. Why? Okay, that's definitely Aaliyah's energy, the Queen of Wands. Why did Hype Williams move the shoot to the Bahamas? Okay, Spirit is telling me because he was told to do so. I'm going to pull one more card. Why did Hype Williams move the shoot to the Bahamas from Miami? What was the reason? Because they were using green screens. It doesn't make sense. Like, why did he do that? Why did he... Okay, let me just get that card. Okay. All I can see when I connect to this situation is men who are anonymous, okay? There were multiple people involved here and who were involved in making decisions about Aaliyah going to the Bahamas, but Hype was the one who took the blame, and I feel he was paid to do so. And here we go again. Aaliyah's shown up as the Queen of Wands. Queen of Wands is queen of work ethic. Wands are all about career, passion, desires. Queens are obviously leaders and empowered in their roles. Aaliyah knew what she wanted. Like, she was fierce in pursuit of her passion, in pursuit of her career. That was a problem for these men. So the Hierophant is about a man in a traditional authoritative figure. Like, this was a problem. Spirit is bringing me to the boardrooms and the meetings. Aaliyah stood up for what she wanted. Like, she was courageous in her career. She wasn't scared to say, I want to do this. I want to be in 5 movies. I want to make a new album. You know, she knew what she wanted career-wise. She was very, very headstrong in her career. It was a problem. Okay, and although Aaliyah made a lot of money, the Three of Pentacles is about collaborative money. It's about more than one person being involved. So this just confirms what I picked up on and what Aaliyah's energy shared, which is that they wanted to make money off more than one person. Okay, and Hype Williams was a director who worked very closely with these anonymous men who, I don't know who they are. They're obviously CEOs and board men of music labels. And I feel that he was paid. He was paid to move this shoot to the Bahamas. The budget was expanded. He was given more money. That is what I feel. Okay. And I feel that he knew there was something dodgy about it. But when I even asked Aaliyah, I asked before I turned on the camera, you know, was he responsible for your passing? And the word she strongly gives me is indirectly. Like, I can't get to the people who are actually responsible, but somebody is. Somebody absolutely is responsible. But the word I continuously get is indirectly. But I do feel that there was a big budget. There was more money that was put into it to say, move it to the Bahamas. And although I feel like Hype Williams thought, that's weird, why can't we just do it in Miami? He just went with it. Okay, so we're going to get to your questions because I asked you what some of your unanswered questions were about Aaliyah's passing over on my YouTube community page. So we're now going to answer some of those, so let's get into it. First question, is she unhappy with how her legacy has continued? And is she happy that her fans keep her music alive? I've spoken about this before. Aaliyah is very, very happy and very grateful in the way her fans have kept her legacy alive. I don't even need to pull a card on that because we actually spoke about that before. You know, she does wish she could have been here to make a further legacy and to do more. Of course, Aaliyah loved her work, as I've just said, but she is definitely happy with how people still talk about her, how her fans keep her music alive, that her music is still played. She's very, very grateful. Very, very appreciative of that. Aaliyah seemed to have a difficult childhood / upbringing with not a lot of support in the grand scheme of things, but her energy wasn't heavy and we didn't even know she was going through all of that. How did she accomplish her goals / chase her dreams despite the hard times / energy around her? Let's pull some cards on that. Now, I will say something here. This has been the case many times I've read for Aaliyah. She does not want to talk about R. Kelly, and I am going to respect that. So any questions that have been asked, I am not going to answer them, because what people don't understand about reading is this isn't my opinion. This is not a drama channel. I'm not sitting here giving you my thoughts. I am connected. I am reading for the person. This is their reading. This is about them. This is their energy, and I will always respect that. And all 3 times now I've read for Aaliyah, she does not want to talk about that. She didn't want to talk about it in life. She doesn't want to talk about it in passing, and I completely respect that. I understand people are curious. I understand people want to know, but this is her reading, and I fully, fully respect that. One of the things I actually talked to Aaliyah about before turning on the camera is her uncle and the betrayals, okay? Because there is dodgy energy around her, you know, around the way certain people behaved with Aaliyah. the way certain things were let to slide. And one thing I really, really felt was Aaliyah had this amazing way of just finding peace with situations and forgiveness. So let's see, Aaliyah, how did you deal with your troublesome upbringing? How did you not let it affect your work? There's just a real love. I feel like it's completely yeah. 5 of Cups and 5 of Swords. I mean 5 of Cups and 5 of Pentacles, sorry. There's just a deep love for her music. I feel like nowadays, because people get into the industry for the complete wrong reasons, they want fame, they want money, that people who love music, like, that's gone. But Aaliyah, in her day and time, she loved to sing, she loved music, and that was almost her like an escape, which is why she did work so hard. It gave her the escape from those demons, it gave her the escape from that upset. She didn't have to think about it, but also she knew that if she let that sadness, which is the 5 of Cups, leak into her music, which is why she never made sad songs. If you listen to Aaliyah's music, Aaliyah never made sad songs about trauma or anything like that, because she knew that it was her escape. And if she allowed that to leak into her music, it wouldn't have been prosperous. 5 of Pentacles is about a loss of money. 5 of Cups is about sadness. There was sadness she held, but she was very private in her emotions. And again, if she let it leak into her music, it would have cost her money. It would have cost her career, and she wasn't prepared to let that happen. She just had a very strong work ethic. I'm hearing, you lot feel like Beyonce has strong work ethic. She had nothing on me. Aaliyah was a Capricorn. One thing you need to know about Capricorns is they are the workers. They are the grinders. They are the ones that are addicted to their work. They will have hell and high water if they don't achieve their passions. That's just how they are, and that just really run through her. So that's how she just loved her music more than anything and appreciated the escape it gave her. Okay. How does she truly feel about her family, especially her parents and uncle? And straight away I'm hearing all is forgiven. All is forgiven. How did you feel about your parents? Yeah. Okay. The Hermit. Aaliyah always chose to see the good. She was very, very aware of energy and very aware of what you focus on grows. And she is aware that, people didn't act the way they needed to be acting, but she chose to focus on the light. That's just the way she was. That is just the way she was. She makes me feel that even in life she would become friends with people. For example, and she's giving examples of people we know so she can highlight the example. DMX. A lot of people would have told Aaliyah, don't hang around with him. He's trouble. He does bad things. She chose to see the good. She chose to see the good in people, and it was exactly the same for her family. I'm just hearing so much love. It's all love and all is forgiven. She's saying that pain is too heavy to carry. It's too much of a burden. And she chose to live her life in light. And I feel like that was a conscious choice that she made. So yeah, that's how she feels about them. Now, this reading is really about the passing and the conspiracy around the passing, but a lot of you did ask about these questions about her life and how she was. So, we are going to cover that. Does she have any life regrets or goals she wanted to accomplish? She's laughing. I do wonder if when we pass, it's because we accomplished all we wanted to... She's giving side eye. Because we accomplished all we wanted to... There's so much more. There's so much more she wanted to do. She's actually taking me to the stage. Like Broadway. Aaliyah would have loved to have done... Aaliyah was a triple threat. She could dance, sing and act. She wanted to do it all. There was more movies she wanted to do. I feel like she actually signed contracts for more movies. She really wanted to fulfill her role in The Matrix. She makes me feel that there was more albums she wanted to do. Aaliyah loved clothing. She's talking about clothing lines and fashion. There was so much more. So much more. As I said, this was a woman who loved her work. And so... she was not finished in the slightest. Not at all. We don't even need cards on that one. She couldn't tell us straight. Okay. What were her last thoughts before the plane crash? Again, I feel like Aaliyah was peacefully unaware until she crossed to the other side, and then she gained consciousness as her spirit in the other realms. Okay. Will the case be reopened, and will the men responsible be put in prison? Let's see. I'm instantly hearing notes in spirit. See, sometimes when I'm so energetically connected to someone, I don't actually need the cards. It just all comes through. And that is the reader I am. I am an energy intuitive reader. So a lot of the time I don't actually need the cards. But let's see. Will the men involved in Aaliyah's death ever be held responsible? And will the case be reopened? Will the case for Aaliyah's passing be reopened? Will the case for Aaliyah's passing be reopened? Will the case for Aaliyah's passing be reopened? And will the men be held responsible? That's a no. Okay, that's a no. We have the King of Cups. King of Cups is a king of emotions, okay? Cups are all about emotions and feelings. And I feel through this card that the men involved have done very well to keep the secrets involved from spilling over. Kings are in charge, they're in control. And these men have done very well to keep this a secret for many, many years. There are multiple. I'm feeling at least 20. And they're all men. There are women who know, but that can't say anything. It just feels like they're just like held, like their lips is like being zipped shut. But there's at least like 20 men involved here. And they've done very well to keep it a secret this far. Because of money. This is so disgusting, but it is all about money. Eight of Pentacles is all about financial opportunity. And Spirit makes me feel that if this was to ever resurface, which they've done very well to stop it from being, they would just pay the people off, which is exactly what they did in the first place. Everyone was paid from the very, very beginning. And it's disgusting. It's disgusting. But yeah, no, I don't feel this will ever reopen. And even if it was to, people would be paid off very, very quickly. Okay. Now, we've asked Aaliyah this next question, but we're going to ask the cards. Was her death a sacrifice? Was she pregnant at the time of her passing? And what does she think of the music industry now? So, let's see. Was Aaliyah's death a sacrifice? Yeah, I'm hearing... Yeah, okay. Was Aaliyah's death a sacrifice? Was Aaliyah's death a sacrifice? Yeah, I knew it. I knew that. It's so interesting. I knew that card was going to come over. Yes. This is yes. Yes. Three of Wands holds a few meanings. I mean, most cards do, but Three of Wands is about self-expression and creativity. Again, we have the three, meaning that there was a want for other people to be involved, and Aaliyah's already said she was very much not up for that. Aaliyah was competitive, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, she wanted to be number one. There was no room for anyone else. You know, she wanted, and that's not in a selfish way. That's just in a wanting to achieve. She wanted to be the best at her craft. But Three of Wands is also about a long-term future, and Spirit makes me feel that these men were thinking, well, long-term, how much money is this going to make us? Because one thing about Aaliyah is, you know, this whole trend of independency, Aaliyah was ahead of her time. I feel that, similar to Tupac, Aaliyah wanted out. She would have gone on to make her own label. Do you see what I mean? Now, this is where the money becomes involved, because the people at the top don't want that. They've seen the figures. They've seen how much money she makes. So long term, you wanting to self-express and do your own thing and be creative in your own lane, that's not going to work for us. So now we have to think about what we're going to do. And Aaliyah actually said, when I connected with her energy, do you not ever wonder why most people who get to the top either disappear or die? It's not coincidence. It's not coincidence. So yes, although she does not like to use this word, I do believe there was a sacrifice. Yes, I do. I do feel that. Now, big question. Was Aaliyah pregnant? This has come up instantly. I'm hearing no. But there was, I feel like, maybe a trying to conceive. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to leave that there because I don't feel like she wants to talk about anything further. Was Jay-Z behind her death? Yes, I do feel, I've already asked Aaliyah this before turning on the camera, I do feel there was involvement from Jay-Z, but as I said, there was multiple men involved in this. But does he know, and did he know? Yes. I want to take this opportunity to point something out, because I know we said we wouldn't talk about R. Kelly in this, but can I ask you something? Why did Jay-Z go and do a whole... This man that supposedly loved Aaliyah so much, loved her, knew her trauma, but went and did a whole album with R. Kelly. Jay-Z went and did a whole album with R. Kelly. Sorry? Let's pull some Jay-Z here. Yes, you, Sean Carter, as Jaguar Wright would say. Okay, Jay-Z. Please show Jay-Z's energy in relation to Aaliyah's passing. Please show Jay-Z's energy in relation to Aaliyah's passing. Please. Jeez, the energy in these cards is getting a bit wild. Please show Jay-Z's passing in relation. Please show Jay-Z's energy in relation to Aaliyah's passing. Yeah. The word I'm hearing is opportunity. I'm not a fan of Jay-Z at all. And I feel like I've made that clear multiple times on this channel. And the cards just confirm it. There was opportunity in Aaliyah's passing for him. Four of Swords is about rest, healing, rejuvenation, restoration. The situation allowed him to bounce back, the star, and go after what he wanted. It made room for what he wanted. It made room for his aspirations, his goals, his wants. It gave him rejuvenation to bounce back. It freed up a space for him to make money. And yeah, I don't even want to talk about Jay-Z anymore. Next. You know, it saddens me so much that we have to sit here and the cards and the energy are saying that this was about money. This was about money and fame. And there was there's definitely a lack of care handling Aaliyah, and I do feel her passing freed up a space for them to make money. And all I see is these men, and I don't know who they are. And it's like a pyramid, that's how it feels. It's like there's these men at the top that no one knows who they are. And I feel like I've said this before, and I see exactly the same thing. They're in black suits. They're always in black suits, these men. And they're right at the top. And then underneath them you have people like Jay-Z, and underneath that you have people like Hype Williams, and it was just a trickle. And there were so many people involved here. And you know what the most beautiful but saddest thing about it is Aaliyah forgives. And she is at peace with her passing. It's one of the things she said to me, I am at peace with my passing. And I feel like one of Aaliyah's specialties in life and in passing was that she was able to make peace with the most tragic things. And like someone said, with everything she went through, how did she stay so grounded? How did she stay so loving and open and forgiving? And it's just who she was and who she is. Now, before I turned on the camera, I did ask Aaliyah if I could do this reading, because I know she doesn't like to speak about this. Aaliyah doesn't like to speak about her passing. It's not something she likes to continuously go over. She doesn't like dark energy. She just doesn't. I've talked about that already. She'd rather focus on the light. And she said that I could, which I'm thankful and grateful. Thank you. Because she understands that the fans have questions. And that was it. That was the reason why. But there was a condition, which was that we end talking about her legacy and her music. Sorry, I'm going to get really upset. because she said she always just wants people to remember her for the music. She doesn't want to be remembered for anything else. She doesn't want to be remembered for conspiracy or controversy. She wants to be remembered for her legacy, which is her music and her artistry and her style. Fashion icon. Yes, she's just said that. So she's funny, you know. Aaliyah was funny. I feel like that maybe wasn't showcased enough. Aaliyah was very funny and playful and still is in spirit, very excitable, very laid back, but when you really got to know her, I feel like she really had like a goofy, playful, childlike essence. And yeah, she likes to laugh and she likes to crack a joke, and she loved the light of life, you know. She loved the good side of life, music, good food, good fashion, you know. She loved that. Yeah, she just funnily joked, you know, fashion icon, but she was a fashion icon. She still is a fashion icon till this day. So someone asked about Aaliyah's friendship with Khadija Jones, and there's a lot of love for Khadija. Aaliyah's telling me that Khadija has pioneered a lot for Aaliyah behind the scenes in ways and places we don't even know about. And there's a lot of love not just for Khadija, but for Khadija's family. The Joneses, there's a lot of love there coming through from Aaliyah. You know, she's saying sister, and she's actually doing this. So, you know, there's so much love. She had no involvement. There was no involvement, but she does make me feel that there's been pioneering and campaign efforts behind the scenes from the Jones family about Aaliyah's passing, especially when it first happened. One thing I do want to know also, is why did Hype Williams switch? Sorry, it's just come back to me before we close this off. Why did Hype Williams switch the plane? Because Aaliyah was supposed to get on a plane that was given to Lenny Kravitz, I believe. It was a safer plane. So why? Interesting. 8 of Cups, change of heart, walking away from something for the, well, it's just all part of it. It was cheaper. It was cheaper for her to get on that plane. Okay, was the pilot intoxicated? Was the pilot intoxicated, and was the pilot specifically? Yeah. 6 of Cups, immaturity, youth. He wasn't trained to fly that plane. He wasn't qualified to fly that plane. Yes, there was definitely something in his system. Yes, he was definitely hired. Again, this is all about money though. That's what it all boils down to. The plane was cheaper for her to get on. The pilot was cheaper for them to employ. And this is all about money. This is all about money. But as I said, we will leave it on her legacy. So someone asked a lovely question, which was, what would Aaliyah be doing today? If she had survived, what would her career look like? And let's see, what would your career have looked like had you survived? And I just want to say, yes, baby girl, yes. Before I answer this, also about the plane being overloaded, I don't feel like it was. I'm hearing no, there was no overload. The plane wasn't overweight. There was not more than enough people on that flight. The pilot was just out of control. So that rumour, I feel, is not true. And all these conspiracies about people being involved in Aaliyah's passing, I feel they were. I feel multiple people were involved. I feel it was about money. I don't feel like she was pregnant. I do feel like she was asleep when she got on the plane, and like I said, wasn't consciously aware until she got to the other side and her body and her spirit transitioned. I feel like the pilot was intoxicated. I feel like he was underqualified. I feel like there was a triangle of people involved in this, trickling down from the top, then to people like Jay-Z, then to people like Hype Williams. I do not feel like Dame Dash was involved. I feel like Aaliyah has so much love for Dame Dash. I've talked about this before, but again, she's still with him. She still walks with him. She always draws me to his children. Specifically, there's a daughter that Aaliyah works very close with. He has a very musical daughter. I don't know if he's ever spoken about this, but he has a daughter who can sing and who loves music, and Aaliyah walks very closely with her. And so I hope, even though it's not the answers we would want, and we don't want any answers, we'd rather she was still here, that this has been able to tie up some conclusions energetically from spirit. But lastly, what would Aaliyah's legacy, work, career look like had she have lived? I mean, Ace of Swords. She would have been on top. Again, I feel like she would have gone on to Broadway. I feel like she would have done at least one Broadway show. But Aaliyah is taking me kind of like behind the scenes, because she was super creative. One thing about Aaliyah, she was super creative. She had a real eye for fashion. She had a real ear for sound. I feel like she would have liked to have been more and more involved in film. I feel like Aaliyah really got the acting bug and loved acting. But I feel like she would have also wanted to direct movies and direct her own music videos. I feel like Aaliyah would have created her own business, like her own media company. I feel like underneath that media company she would have made films, and she would have also had a record label. This woman had big, big dreams. But she's telling me, as I said, she loved her work. Her work was her life. And she still works from the other side. I've talked about this before. She works with people like Missy through channeling. What a lot of people don't understand about music and creation is a lot of these artists channel spirit. They channel energy. Like, that's where music comes from. That's why it's so powerful. And she makes me feel that she's still working on the other side in the music industry. And the music industry isn't today what she would have thought it would have been. And it's not what she once loved it to be. But she's still grateful to be making music, even from where she is. And lastly, she is at peace. And she really wants that to be known. And remember my legacy, play my music, and remember me for the creative artist that I am. Oh, thank you. Whew, thank you so much for being with me today, lovelies. I do hope that some of our questions and some of your questions have now been answered, and that we can find as much peace in this situation as Aaliyah feels to have made on the other side. If you enjoyed this video, please do subscribe to join our lovely community. Please do hit a lovely thumbs up, share for anyone who you feel may need to see this, and comment down below your favourite Aaliyah song. Mine is Don't Know What to Tell Ya. If you got only knew, Hot Like Fire. I can't choose one. I can't choose one. And thank you. Thank you for being with me today. Continue to love Aaliyah, continue to play her music, continue to talk about her, continue to share her with the younger generations. And let's do as she wished and keep her legacy alive. See you soon for another video, lovelies. Bye.